We are back for another episode of Using Up Your 12 by 12s. This project is brought to me by Gail Augustinelli. I don't remember where she said she saw it. Here's that commercial again. Ugly VA. Ugly VW. Have a little fun. But the commercial makes me giggle. The singing makes me giggle. But again, I watched it on Gail's channel. Gail said who she saw it from, but I don't recall who she said. But this is using a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and it makes 2 pieces of ephemera for your journal. Two different pockets, envelopes, pouches, flips, whatever you want to call it. So this one flips up, open, down, and you put a pocket down here, and it flips this, you glue here and here, and then this is a side pocket. You put your closure here and here. If you're using a magnet or a policy closure, you could do just one on the flap and wrap it around. You can do a double that fit, So got to think about your closure before you do your gluing, for sure. And then this is the other one. You can see it's got a bigger flap open, right? Flips down. This is a pocket here. And then this flips, this you glue here and here. And then you have a side pocket here, top pocket here. And again, your closure, if you're using magnets, you want to put your magnet in here before you glue your pocket closed. And then magnet down here. Policy closure, if you're going to do a policy closure on this one, I would recommend only doing one on the flap because you only have this much space down here on the bottom. So if you were to do, let me grab some colored ones here. So if you were to do 2, you'd have one here and you'd have one like right here. It's like right on the edge. So if you were doing a policy closure on this one, like I said, I would do just one and do a full wrap rather than trying to do 2 and doing a small wrap. The first one I am going to try to use the magnets. After I figure out where I put them. And if it doesn't stick very well, then I'll do policy closures on the rest. First, I got to figure out where I put those magnets when I moved them. Where did I put those? I had to move them because they were sticking to everything. Like I'd go to pick my scissors up and the magnets would be stuck to my scissors. I'd pick up my pen, magnets would be stuck to my pen. And I'm like, "Urgh!" And because I wasn't using them at the moment, I put them away somewhere. I don't know. Maybe while I'm doing all my scoring, it'll pop into my brain and remind me where I put them. Am I even remotely confident in that? Absolutely not. So if you watch my last video that I did from Tina, you'll have noticed that one didn't require the scoreboard at all. This one, I would recommend you use a scoreboard if you've got it. If not, you'll have to figure out how to do your folding and stuff by using a ruler to measure your spots out and just fold it that way. Oops. Reach behind here and grab my scoring tool. Okay, so ideally you would want this to be a non-directional paper. I'm okay with stripes not being non-directional, you know, and going in different directions. So like on this, the stripes here and here might be going up and down, but this one, they'll be going this way. So for me, since I'm doing this as a non-directional, you got this pocket that you glue in, and you got this pocket that you glue in, and this is made from the corner piece that you cut out, which you'll see in a minute. I can put these sideways so that it matches those inside pockets and it won't bother me as much. So that is an option for those of you doing this if you find that that's the case for you too. And some of the stuff, it's like if it's not, you know, I'm going to deal with it. What I'm saying is this one is easy enough to do if you're not using a directional paper, to adjust it, because you have those two pockets that you can cut your other piece of paper in half, and then based on the direction you need it to go in. I hope that's making sense. So you're going to put your paper down and you're going to score it at 4 and at 8. Give it a 90-degree turn. Score it at 3 and an 8. And again at 8. All right. So perfectly timed as I was doing the scoring. My camera beeped at me. I looked up. It stopped recording. When I tried to record, it said I was out of memory on the SD card. So I've switched it over to my computer. I'm now on just recording it from StreamYard, and I'll edit it together. Got to edit the camera ones together anyway. I didn't think I was that close to being out of space on my board, but whatever. All right, so now you're going to flip this over, and you want your 4x4, 4-inch by 4-inch square. You want it in your upper right-hand corner. And I have trouble with this a lot, so I'm going to measure and make sure that's my 4x4. It's supposed to be, but okay, this one's my 4x4. So what I'm going to do is, because I'm going to be scoring, I'm going to score all the other ones so that I can get my scoreboard off my desk. We're going to go through and score everything. So again, 4, 8. So this is a 4. Turn it in half. Or turn it 90 degrees. 3 and an 8. And again at 8. So this one should be 4x4. 4x4. Yes. So again, just going to give it a little mark. Four, 8, 3 and an 8, and 8. This is my 4x4. Four, 8, 3 and an 8, 8. Mark. Four, 8, 3 and an 8, 8. Oops. That's not the, I need this. 4, 8, turn, 3 and an 8, and 8. Four, turn, 3 and an 8, 8. And the last one. 4, 8, turn, 3 and an 8, and 8. Now, the reason I was marking that 4x4 is so that I know which one, how to orient my paper. Okay. So now what you're going to do is this center is going to be cut out altogether. So you're going to cut along this line, this line, this line, this line, this line, and this one. So this is going to look, this one will look like a plus sign. Oh, no, I am totally, I'm like, that is not right at all. I'm looking at going, that's not going to flip right. Double checked my directions there. So scratch that, go back. You want one of your 4x4s to be your extra. I just got to remember which, you got to figure out which was which. I think that's the only 4x4. Four, 4 and 4. Yeah. So you want to turn you want your paper oriented so that your 3 4x4 squares are across the top. This piece is your extra piece that you're going to make your pockets out of that you glue in. Okay. So you're going to glue, or you're going to cut this line, and this line, cutting that square completely out. This one, and this one, and this one. So this looks like a plus. This looks like a backwards L. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to fix all of these. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark the lines that I cut on each one. Here here, 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 and here. All my feelings come back to me. Why do none of those look like a 4x4? What in the world did I do here? Four. It's 3 1/8 and an 8. Okay, let's grab my scoreboard back out. I messed this one up somehow. I scored it at 3 1/2 and 8. Did you guys catch that and are yelling at me? 4 and 8. Four, 8, turn, 3 1/8 and 8. That score line is pretty light down all of those sides, so I'm not too super worried about it showing like I have in previous ones. There, 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 and there. Hopefully I didn't do that more than once. Here, 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 and here. And again, I'm orienting my 4x4s across the top. The 3 4x4s across the top, cutting all on this line, and this line, cutting that square out. And then here, here, and here. This makes a plus. This makes a backwards L. Woo! Almost just sent my papers flying to the floor. There. Now you will also notice that this is 2 marks. So if it's easier for you, cut all the way down this one while you're cutting. For me, when I tried that, it really confused my brain. But that's also why I mark the lines that I need to cut on, so that if my brain does get confused, I at least have a guideline. And I'm not registering where I put my magnets. Okay, and again, Tina's Shabby Dabby Doo-Dah style, folding it in half so that I'm ideally only having to cut once. Cutting that, pull that out, fold this one. Now, if you try to cut this way, this flap is going to get in your way. So my recommendation is to fold it to the back and out of the way so that you can then hold this one down. Whoops. This is the one, and if you do this one last on this part, you're going to be cutting this one out automatically and then starting that line there. So I tried the first couple times I did it, I tried cutting this way, then that way, and then I got lost as to which one I was cutting out. So I altered my way of doing things so that I was cutting this one as one single pass. And again, I'm folding this to the back just so that I can hold on to the paper. It's got to be folded back anyway. And again, you're just going to trim. And then that piece will fall off. And you're going to trim this one all the way up to this score line. Okay. So now you have something that looks like this. Move this out of the way. So you've got your cutout. You've got this line cut. Now you're going to go across here and down. How you do this is up to you. Got to figure out which way is going to work best for you and your brain. Fold that. Put that. And then fold this one. Now again, I'm going to fold this one so that I can get to that more easily. Oops. Okay, so now you have your L and your plus, right? Or as we were looking at it before, your L and your plus, okay? So your L, this one folds in. This becomes a pocket, folds up, and this folds down. Now this is where you want to trim where needed and get anything straightened up that's crooked, because things are going to be crooked unless you are one of those magical people that can cut a straight line. You're going to have things that need to be trimmed. You just want to make sure, like this one, it overhangs, but this is my folded edge. So if I was to trim that off, I'm going to cut my fold. So I got to leave that one alone as much as it's going to bug me that it's crooked. This one, I'm going to trim this down. Okay. Then this one folds in. This folds up. This folds down. And again, this is, you're wanting to make sure that your folds all fold, right? You want to make sure that there's no impedance, that nothing, that you've cut enough of those out. That's when you cut these out, you want to make sure that you've cut enough that they don't bind up on each other. Grab my corner rounder from behind my book, hopefully without knocking everything over. Okay. On both of your pieces, you're going to, if you want, you can leave them pointed if you want. You can use a decorative punch if you've got one, a decorative corner punch. I do have some, but I don't want to bring them out. So you're going to punch each of those two flaps. I like the rounded corners or decorative corners either way, just because I think it finishes it off. Okay. Now, when you open your flaps up, you've got these that flap down. You're going to make a decision. Do you want to round these corners or do you want to leave them square? This one It's just a flap, but you do put that at that pocket down there, right? So if I'm going to round these corners, I'm going to wait until I put the pocket there. This one's already got, you glue this down into a pocket, but it does flip up. So if you want those rounded, round those now. This one still is like overhanging some. There you go. Now it does round a little on that folded edge, but you're gluing that pocket closed, so it's not gonna be a big deal. I am gonna leave this out because I got the pocket to deal with. And I also need my punch puncher. Not going to do that yet. Now you got to keep in mind, I thought these were 2 different sizes. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one. Three and 7/8. That's what I thought. This one's 4 inches. This one's 3 and 7/8. So this is where I was saying, you've got this piece that you're going to be cutting pockets out of. So you can angle them, or instead of cutting it this way, and then you have your bottom pocket or your middle pocket going in the opposite direction, just turn it this way. Because this is a 4x4, so it's going to fit on your 4-inch anyway, no matter which way you put it, right? And then over here, you're going to trim just a smidge off, 1/8 of an inch. But it fits either way. So this goes this, I'm going to do this one. And that one. So this is 4 inch. So I got to decide, do you want it to be a 2 inch and a 2 inch? Makes it the easiest. And this is why I waited to cut this one. I didn't cut it when I had my scoreboard out. I didn't have my scoreboard out yet today. Never mind, scratch that thought. Or my cutting board. So I'm going to do these just at 2 and 2. So each gets a 2 inch pocket. And I'm not going to worry about trimming that 1/8 inch off until I glue the pocket down. Okay. So on this one, I'm going to measure to the middle. Go up a little bit further there. This one's going to be a little more tricky because it is off that 1/8 of an inch, right? So to find your middle, find your 2 and then go back on my ruler, back 1 mark. Because there's 2, you're down 2 on this side. So it's a 1/16 of an inch less than 2. So 1 15/16. Line those centers, those dots, and then I'm going to use my whale tail punch. It is my favorite way of doing thumb pulls. I've talked about that before. That on the inside here, I have it marked. I don't know how you can see that. I've got it marked where the center is. Okay, and then here, find my center. So 3 1/8. So 1 1/2 is 1/2 of 3, and then there's 1/8. So I need to go forward a 1/16 on that one. I should be writing these down and make it easy on myself. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do that math each time. Grab my Post-it pad. So 2, 1 and 15/16. 1 and 9/16. And then this should be an even 2 because this should be a 4-inch pocket. Oh, no, I'm incorrect. Sorry. This is 4 3/4, which is 2 and 7/16, I believe. It's not quite, it's going to be a little off. It's between 6/16 and 7/16 and 6/16. Is that center? So again, I'm going to line up that dot, and I did put my dot a little lower, or did a little further in than I meant to. Okay, let's clip that out. Come onto this one and clip this one out. You got it or you don't. That's a fallacy. Okay. Now, if you're going to ink now. These are both blue. I'm going to go ahead and use this blue again, as much as it frustrates me. Again, as I said in the last video, I have these inks that are not my favorites, but I don't want to throw them away. So I'm using them. So that I can get them out of my stash. Just got the really obnoxious reminder as to why I don't like this one. It's very sticky, and like I said, it's a pigment ink versus like a regular ink. So this is ink plus pigment, which is why it's sticky. And it does take a little longer to dry. I haven't found that that's too much of an issue on cardstock, however. I'm having more of an issue of it flipping on me. It's a little sticky than I'm used to. I wonder why that is. Inking all of my edges, inking my creases. Sorry, I just realized I was totally off camera. Inking all of my edges, all of my creases, flipping it over, doing the inside. You don't have to do the inside of this because, again, that's going to be glued down. I would, however, do the edges of the back part just in case there's any gapping from your pocket. Okay. Come over to this one. And some of this will have to be, you'll have to what am I thinking? What am I trying to say? Like when I go back and round the corners for those other pockets, this pocket, when I round these corners, I'll have to re-ink just the corners. Again, I'm going to do those gaps, or the folds, I mean. I'm not going to worry about the inside of the pocket. Okay. But I do want to do the outside of the pocket. I just flip that over again. Okay. I'm having some difficulty with my camera placement because I have to move my entire setup in order to cross stitch on camera. And so I moved it. I did a month's worth of cross stitch videos, and I moved it back. I'm having some trouble figuring out like how I had it set up, because it's like it doesn't seem to want to be on frame like it was before, and so I can't figure out how I had it set up before that it worked so well. There, and there. Okay, I've got everything inked up except for these two pockets, so I got to figure out which one's going to go where. So this one's going to go here. And again, I'll have to redo these corners. So I'm not going to worry about getting those corners really, really inked well. So I'm going to have to re-ink them after I glue and hole punch and corner punch. This one, because it's going in the middle, I'm not going to round those corners. I knew that flipped over, and I still tried to ink from the back. Okay, we're going to go ahead and close this ink up so I don't stick my hand in it. I've been known to do that a time or two. For now, anyway. So this one, the closure is on the inside of here, out and on here if you're going to use it. So I can go ahead and glue this one down. Although this is a true mass make style, because I should be doing the closures all at the same time if I'm doing it mass make. Although in true mass make form, I would have that entire stack over there cut and then also inked and ready for the next step. But I'm already at 31 minutes, so I think by the time I get this one done, probably be ready to be done with this video anyway. Okay, so I went ahead and glued that down because, again, this does not give enough space for a double policy. And because I can't find my magnets, I can't test that out. So this one will be policy closures. This one, I can't glue this one down yet because my other policy closure is going to be on the inside. You know, the clip will be on the inside and covered. But I can glue this center pocket. And that just gets some extra flaps out of the way. And you saw me do this on this one. And that's so when I fold this over, there's blue in the background instead of that coffee dyed. It's not a must. It's just a personal choice there. I didn't do it here so you can see the difference between having the blue there or having the white there. Would it help if I zoomed in, I wonder? Maybe that'll be a better solution. But this is the blue versus the white. These could potentially go in different journals. They could potentially go in the same journal. So just to cover that base, I'm going to go ahead and ink this part up so that when I do glue that one down, it's blue as well. Set this aside. So this is a single, like not wanting to lay straight though. Let's get my bone folder out. This one, you laying straight? You're laying straight. How did that happen? See, this one, my flaps are different sizes. That's how. I was just holding it up. I hole punched the wrong ends. Or corner rounded, I mean. But again, that decision is entirely up to you, really. And how you want to orient this. Because, you know, they could be like this, right? You could flip them this way. They could both have a short flap where this one flips up and you've got a pocket at the top. You can have it one tall, one short, like that. It's entirely, it's like, these are multi-directional, apparently. I just realized that. And I only realized it because of my boo-boo. Okay. But that's a decision for you to make as you're gluing stuff down. Trim that. And by trimming it, it's not completely glued down there. So run some glue down in there. So I kind of like the idea of doing this because I like the double policy. So I'm going to do mine this way. So I have two small flaps up top, larger flap under bottom. When you flip them up, this one's got a pocket. This one doesn't. And then this pocket will go down here. After the fact. Okay. This one needs just a slight trim. I'm going to have to re-ink this edge. It's wanting to buckle when I fold it over. Oh yeah, and I forgot. I have the part that's on my video camera that will add to this. So it definitely will be, I'll just do this one on camera and I'll do the rest off camera. So to figure out where our center is, again, I'm going to use my zeroing ruler. 1 15/16 on each side. So my center is, let's go a little higher up. My center is right there. And then, wait, it's going this way. See, I'm still going the wrong way. Let's try that again. So there, and there-ish. And then this one. I love have a zeroing ruler. If you don't have one, I highly recommend. I saw it on Gail's channel the very first time. I went, what? That would make my life so much easier. Because it really does take the guesswork out of finding the center of your stuff. Really out of play. Because you just make sure it's the same on each side. You're at the same marker on each side. Like in this case, 2 and 2. And then you just go to your 0 and mark it. And it's voila. you know. Let's go up here into my, this is my centering die, but I don't think I have any solid white ones up here in cardstock. I don't. It's okay. I had some scraps, so I just cut circles out of the scraps so that I'd have them ready if I had some that matched, but those ones don't match. Oh, good gosh. I'm glad that was my empty cup and not my coffee. Somewhere over here. Is it lost in the pile? No. I don't know where it went. I had a thing of just plain white cardstock over there that I was hole punching out of. Hold on. Oh, it's buried. It just wasn't where I thought it was. I'm going to get my little hole punch out. And again, I'm going to punch out 4. So I can do 2 on each. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I need 8 because I'm doing 4 envelopes. Or 2 envelopes. 5, 6. And I'm going to come up the edge. This is one of the things that I taught my granddaughter. I taught Mina. Because she likes to use my hole punches. But she's so wasteful with paper. But again, she's only 7. But I try to teach her to go around the outer edges. Because then if she gets enough on those outer edges, I can cut this part off. And I still have that center paper that's useful for something. It is a work in progress. I still catch her a lot of times just randomly punching paper. But yeah, I just have to remind her often. Okay, so I'm going to put glue on 4 of these. Get off my finger. Off my finger. Off the bottle. It's got the spider web that's causing me issues. I figure if I did all 4 of them at once, then I can set my glue down. I'm going to put 1 circle on each. So again, we're just double layering the cardstock just to give it some strength. And then I hold it like this. I give it a squish this way while spinning it because that helps keep my circles together. And then I go around the outer ring like this, spinning it, wiping off any glue that, you know, happens to seep through. If you get it on one side, it's not too big of a deal. If you get it on both, you might want to clean it up. So again, hold it like this, and I squish it down this way first in the center, and then I go around the outer edges, squishing and pushing, you know, as I spin it like that, and then I go around this way to catch off any extra glue that came out. Ooh, my glue's already starting to set. This one's better get these ones together. Okay. Glue. Okay, so apparently if you're working in a warm room, you want to do these 2 at a time. Okay, I'm going to get my dauber out. I'm going to just ink around. My husband hates this song. Now, you could do the whole thing blue if you wanted to. You know, just like color the whole thing in. I like having a little bit of the white showing because there is white on here. If this was a solid blue with some accent on it, I would probably do this all blue. But let's see what I have for Brad's. Let's see. I've got baby blue. I've got kind of a purpley blue. Let's see, do I like either of those with that? Before I dig into my other one. Ugh. My goodness. Where'd you go? So I don't mind that one. The light blue is too off color-wise. So let's get 2 of those. Let's see if I have 4 of them. Yep. Now, obviously, it would be easy to know what I have if all of my brads were organized by color or whatever, but they're all jumbled up because even though this box seals and it's got the dividers and stuff, everything still gets mixed up if you drop it. At least that was my experience. And I dropped it. It was sealed closed and I dropped it and it still shook everything up and mixed everything up. And I've done it enough times that I'm like, I'm not fixing it this time. So this is a template that I created, circle, center hole, so that I don't have to measure these each time. Sorry, I just realized I'm barely on camera. So this is a glue eraser, but it works really well for punching stuff like this as well. Put that up on my light where I try not to lose it. So this is, where's my other brad? There it is. Now, some people choose to do one, like when they're punching this out, they would put this together and punch it so that they're only doing it once. I have found that I struggle with doing it that way because I end up not getting them where I want them. So I know that this one is right on that solid blue line. So I'm just going to punch through there. And I'm going to go ahead and, since I got it in my hand, see, I find it easier to do it this way. Some people find it easier to punch all the holes and then go back and put all the brads in. But since I'm punching in this manner, it's easier for me to do it as I'm figure out where I want that. Hold this in place, and you want to open it up so you don't punch through everything. You only want to punch through this flap. Because again, this brad is going to be on the inside. No, it's not going to be on the inside of that pocket. It's going to be up here. So you got to decide how you want to cover this since it's going to be visible. And you want to cover this. Now, since both of these are going to be visible, I would want it to be something decorative. I just don't know what yet. So let's go ahead and glue this pocket on down here. Sorry, glue sides, glue bottom. Try to stay on is there if you can. Wipe off any extra if you ran off the edge like I did. Went off in the ditch. Line up your bottom, line up your sides. If you're a little short side to side, just try to center it. And you'll see that there's the corners there. I'll just go in and round those off. Is it best to wait till your glue is dry? Yes. So you don't get stuff stuck inside your edger there. Go back, do the corners. I got to think about what I want to put on that. So this one for sure is going to be up inside the pocket. This one, oh, you know what? I have to go this way because otherwise that pocket's upside down because I already glued that on. So this is going to have to go this way on this one. So I can go ahead and glue this pocket closed too. I'm going to catch that curve just a slight smidge on this corner over here. Now, had I not glued this pocket in already, I could have made that decision, but flipping it up so that this is my flap puts this pocket upside down. So if you want this to be your top flap, you're going to glue this pocket on this edge down here, or you can even glue it there and here and leave this as a blank. That's also an option. So let me erase all of my lines here because I do know that it's on that dotted line though. So this one goes this way. We're going to go right about there. Again, you want to lift that flap up because you don't want to punch through your whole work. Try not to stab your finger on the way through. The key word there is try. I stab my finger a lot. Okay, now, this is where I usually get into my die cuts. Which I'll do after. I'll cover those after the fact. Let's get some binding on here. Get out my ball o' mess. Wonder if I have anything that's kind of that color. Yeah, let's do one with brown. Kind of pull that brown stripe in a little better. And again, this is embroidery floss, probably from somebody's kit that they didn't finish. I bought that at a secondhand store. Well, I bought thread at a secondhand store, and that was included in the bag. And clearly, I'm not going through that. It's not labeled. I don't know what any of the colors are. And I don't have the time or patience to color match against my DMC chart. I'm like, it'll just go as a ball into my journal binding drawer, and we'll just call that good. So again, I'm knotting under the top circle. Cut off the short one. Don't cut your long one. If you accidentally cut your long one, it's okay because you got a little, if you're using, a long piece of thread, you've got some wiggle room. Tying them side by side. Not a good plan because, as you saw, I just got my threads all mixed together. So yeah, when I'm cutting, I try to put the one I'm not cutting as far on, 180 degree opposite of the one that I am. Slide my scissors over the thread and under that circle so that way the cut end stays underneath. Now, here's where there's some big differences. Okay, so when you have just a single and you're having to wrap around the back, and then knot it down, you don't have the option to glue this into your book, because if you glue it in, you can't untie it, right? But having the closure like this, and you're just doing like a figure 8, put that under there. And I leave this long so that if I decide to attach charms, I can. You can glue this into your journal. So you could glue it on 3 sides and make this a pocket. You could glue it on these 3 sides and make it a side pocket. But once it's glued in, you have the ability to still open it up, have access to the pocket, journaling space, and all that stuff. But it's glued into your book. So keep that in mind also when you're doing your closures. What is the plan? Do you want it so that you can glue it in, or no? All right. So there's those. Thank you for tuning in, and we will talk to you in the next video.